Hello everyone and welcome to this lesson on the ukulele. This will give you the basics that you need to get started with playing the ukulele in your lessons. So this is a ukulele. It's got 4 strings. It looks somewhat similar to a guitar, but it's much smaller, and guitars normally have 6 strings. So on the ukulele, we've got these 4 strings here. We hold it this way. Now my left hand is holding the neck of the ukulele and my right hand is about to play the body. Now, if you are left-handed, sometimes you can get a left-handed ukulele. However, we're going to stick with the right-handed because it makes it easier when understanding the chord patterns. So, there are 2 ways to play the ukulele. We can either strum or we can finger pick. Now, before we get started on strumming and finger picking, which are the 2 ways of playing, we need to think about the strings. So, sometimes when you pick up a ukulele, it might sound like this. Sounds okay, sounds somewhat in tune. Or you might pick up one that sounds like this. Ooh, okay, a little bit off. What about this one? Ooh, yeah, so they get worse and worse as we go through. And because they're made of wood, they change their tuning quite regularly. So we need to make sure that we keep our ukulele in tune. The way to do that is to tune the 4 strings to 4 different notes. We've got G, C, E, and then A. Now I tuned my ukulele before I started this video and already I can hear that it's slightly out of tune. So I'm going to twist these tuning pegs until it matches those 4 notes. G, C, E, and A. And that will do, I think. So we've got 4 chords to learn. 3 of them are easy, 1 of them's a little bit more tricky. To play the chords, we're going to play on these things here called frets, and this is the fretboard. If I just use this bottom string here, although it's the top string because it's closest to my chin, closest to the ceiling, it's actually the bottom string, it's G. Now if I press on one of the frets, now I'm not actually pressing on the line, I'm pressing just in the gap here. You can see that they're spaced perfectly for your fingers, just like that. If I now do that first string, but press in the first fret space, oh, it goes higher, and you can hear that it goes higher all the way. So that means that we can change the notes depending on where we put our fingers. So I'm actually going to play a chord now called a C chord. I'm going to put my 4th finger on the bottom string here. If we're going to go top down to bottom to make it easier for the learning. Top string here down to the bottom string. On the bottom string, the A string, and we're going to put the finger in the 3rd fret, in that 3rd space. Now that changes the A to this note. And now if I strum all 4 strings gently, do it together. Voila, there you go, that's a C chord. An F chord now is, you use your index finger and we're going to go to the 1, 2, 3, the 3rd string down, 1, 2, 3, and it's the 1st fret. And then we're going to use then our middle finger on the top string here in the 2nd fret. So you can see just like that. Here we go. And this is what an F chord sounds like. And then an A minor chord, which is even easier. Just get rid of your index finger. And then it's just your middle finger on there. And then a G chord. Now this is a little bit tricky. So you put your index finger on the 2nd fret on the 2nd string, your middle finger on the 2nd fret on the bottom string, and then your 4th finger, a bit tricky, goes on that middle string in that gap just there. So if I get rid of that finger again, you can see those 2 fingers there on the 2nd fret, that finger just in the middle there. This is a G chord. And then you can put all of those chords together like this. C chord to start with, A minor chord, F chord, and then a G chord. Now it can be quite tricky to change between those fret positions with your fingers. Here's a C, A minor, F, G, but it just comes with practice. So you've just got to keep making sure that you're practicing those chord positions. That's one way of playing with the chords, and then there's another way where you can do finger picking. So for example, we can play a basic scale. I'll use this string here and I'll just go up. And then you can play basic songs using finger picking. Now, when you look at the chords, the tab on the board, you will see that it's got this kind of table. If you get rid of all the ukulele bits and just look at the lines going down with the strings and the frets going across, you'll see that you've got dots spaced around on your fret. And that's where your fingers go, on the frets. So if you've got a dot here, and a dot there, well, cover those dots with your fingers, and that makes a G chord. And that is the simple way to play the ukulele. Now you're going to be going on to do some other play-along songs and some finger picking exercises. Good luck.